Hi, and welcome to Kit to Craft. If you're here today, it's because you've purchased one of our kits, and today we're putting together our Santa gnome ornament. Let's start by unpacking our kit. First thing we have are the 3 rings that you'll use for the hat, and each one of these is for a separate ornament. This contains all the yarn that you'll use with these rings to make your hat, and then these are the 3 balls of yarn that you'll use each one to make the beard of your gnome. You also have, oops, missed that, some cotton balls, and you have your 3 wooden beads for your 3 noses, and then some twine also to hang your ornament from your tree. You also have a piece of rectangular foam board. You're going to need your glue gun and your scissors for this project, so make sure you have those ready to go. So we're going to start with our tan or taupe colored hat and gnome. You're going to take your cardboard ring from the paper towels, and then take your yarn and carefully untie that like this. You're going to want to set aside probably a couple strings that you'll be using to tie the hat off. You should have more than enough yarn to make your hat. The main goal of this, though, is that you completely cover the cardboard ring with the yarn. Let's start by folding your yarn in half, a piece. You're going to pass it through the hole, the center. Grab it on the other side, and I kind of hold it like this, and then I bring my ends up and through the center like so, and then we just gently pull. Don't pull too hard or you'll tear your cardboard ring. Some people will tie it slightly differently. It doesn't matter as long as you do the entire ring the same way. We want to look uniform all the way around. Again, pick up your yarn. I match up my ends, about matched up. Fold it in half. We're going to pass it through the center, grabbing that folded end. And you've kind of got it on here. Reach through and gently pull, and then just slide it over. Again, put your ends together, pass the folded piece through there, and I kind of just do this, and then I reach through with these 2 fingers and gently pull, and that gives you the perfect knot. You may have to tighten it slightly, just again being careful not to pull too hard. We're about halfway done now, getting that around there, and you can see I just keep sliding these together so you cannot see the cardboard tube through the yarn. So now we've covered the whole cardboard ring with our yarn, and we're going to grab the yarn strands, and I twist them a little bit, and that just kind of keeps them together and it's easier to push them through. And you're going to use your thumb and push that all the way through, tucking all the strands down in there. Give it a little shake, and now you have your hat forming. You can see that. I like to sometimes push in the little knots so they're not as visible. Then you're going to take your piece of yarn, lay it down, put your hat across there, and this is where it's going to form the pom-pom on top. Give that a nice firm pull. That wasn't too coordinated. Now we've tied our knot, and we're going to trim the top, and it really doesn't matter how long the pom-pom on top is. I tend to like mine a little shorter, and you are going to be trimming these excess strands that are hanging off. Sometimes, just as a point of reference, I kind of put the base of my thumb against that string and use that as a little bit of a guide. So I don't do too much to start off with. And then if you're not sure, just give it a little shake I like that pom-pom. I think that's nice. Take your fingers on each side and you're gonna kind of reach through until you've created a hole in your hat. There, you can kind of see that. And you're going to take one of your pieces of twine and you're going to feed it through there. This is going to be used to hang your Santa gnome. And I just tie it like this with my two ends together. All right, now we're going to make the beard of our Santa gnome ornament. Again, you'll need your foam board and one of your balls of yarn. And I just kind of set it aside. Your other yarn you'll need in a minute, but not this moment. And I start out by just kind of laying it across here. The most important thing about this step, as we're wrapping it around, is that it's a very loose wrap. I am not putting any tension on this at all. And again, just kind of lay that down. If you have a little bit left, you're be trimming that anyway. It doesn't matter. And this is the reason why we wanted it loose, because you're going to be reaching behind this yarn and tucking another strand through to tie it off. You're going to take one of your strands and you're going to kind of pull these away from the foam board and just thread that through. And we're going to tie this in a knot as tight as we can, of course without breaking it. You can see I'm putting a lot of tension on this, and it's just across the middle. Second one. All right, and there we go. We're going to flip this over and we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Take your yarn and thread your piece of yarn underneath. You're going to tie a knot and then tie it off. The second reason you need this to be loose on the cardboard and not wrapped around tightly is because you're going to be sliding the yarn off. And I'm taking those tight spots, I'm laying that across the string. I'm going to do the exact same thing, but now I'm tying both sides together. My extra ones there. Again, tight, then, and tie it. Now I'm going to look at these strings I have here. Two of the strings I'll keep for now. Cut off the excess. If you do cut all of them off, it won't hurt. It just is a little easier. What I do is, as I'm trimming the beard or trimming the ball into a pom-pom, I use this to kind of swing around and shake off some of the excess yarn shavings that are on there. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to go all the way around and you're going to put your scissors down the center and you're going to cut the loops. You may miss some in there. Just reach in there and snip those as well. The one thing you are going to need is a nice sharp pair of scissors. So we've cut all the loops. Take the two strands and I just shake it like this. I'm gonna make this one pretty dense. You're going to be cutting off quite a bit of this, so don't worry and think, oh, I've cut off too much. You should be fine. And you can always start out just a little and keep trimming back more. Again, I'm using my thumb as a guide for now. And this just helps me keep it a little bit even as I'm going around. The top of your pom-pom is still going to be a little flat. It's going to be under the hat. You're not going to have to worry about that. Again, I try to keep these long. It's just easier to shake out the excess yarn. So I've cut quite a bit off. I want to see what it looks like. So I grab my string, shake that a little. But I think I'm going to go a little bit shorter. Once you shake that out, it's very easy to see what still needs to be cut. Don't cut yourself while you're doing this, please. I'm very used to making these, so it's easy for me to use my fingers as a guide, and please be very careful. So I'm looking it over. I'm seeing a couple little spots. All right. It appears to be a little longer. Now we're going to take our hat and we're going to put it on the beard for our Santa gnome. Again, kind of remembering where you would like it to go. We're going to be putting the glue around the inner part of the hat at the base of the ring. So you can see I'm not putting it outside the hat because then you'll be able to see it. You want it slightly on the inside. You can kind of see the edge around there. Put it against here and just press. So now I've really messed up, and here's your chance to see what we do when we have a mess up. You can see how I fix it. So I'm just going to take this and kind of push it into here, and you can kind of maneuver it. Just kind of push it in and work with the strands a little. If I had done this correctly and was following my directions, I would have put the cotton ball in there after this string was tied, but before I glued the beard to the hat. So you just push that up into the hat and then glue the two of them together, and that just helps give it a little shape. Now we're going to add our nose. I have our bead. Put him there so I can make sure that what I want to be the front is facing me. Your bead does have holes in it. It's just a regular macrame bead or craft bead. When I glue it, put the hole at one facing upwards towards the hat and one facing downward, because once it gets tucked in there glued, you can't see the holes from the craft bead. A little bit of glue. You can see how that is in relation to the holes on there, and then I just put it right up here under the hat. That did not glue exactly how I wanted it to. So how do we fix that? Well, we're going to just pull that down a little, put a tiny bit of glue there, and then push it up against the edge of the hat, fluff around the bottom there, and there you've got it. You have your Santa gnome ornament.